Wake up, wake up, wake up. Good morning, IWC. I'm your host, Mob Miz. This is episode one. We have a lot to get into here. We're going to be coming at you live, or excuse me, not live, pre recorded Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. This will be the first episode dropping tomorrow. We have a lot to get into. We had a crazy weekend of wrestling. Obviously, we had SummerSlam, a bunch of big stuff there. I'm gonna start the week off with Collision because it started on Thursday this week. Typically would be a Saturday show. So I'm gonna give you the rundown on them two shows. I'm gonna also add in a few questions and a few other things. And feel free to get over any questions you have for me that you would like answered daily on the show over on X at Mob Squad 508. But first, let's get into Collision. We actually had a pretty good show. We had Darby pretty much playing mind games with Moxley, reminiscent of the old Sting in WCW. He ends up actually kidnapping Moxley at one point. We'll get a little bit later in the show, but he ends up trying to throw him over the railing and attempted murder on television. You let me know how you feel about that in the comments. Brodito defeated the Gates, so they'll be moving on to the semifinals where they'll face the Young Bucks. FTR is waiting in the finals for the winner of that match. Thekla beat Willow. Um, I I don't know what's going on with Billy and Bowens, but I'm not really into that dynamic. I would like your thoughts on them two together, what you think they should do with them going forward in the future. We got confirmation that Swerve will go against Okada at Forbidden Door. We also had Athena challenging Tony at Forbidden Door. I'll give you an update on that on a later episode. Max Caster survived the 5 minutes with Roosh of all people. Really, it was like a 5 minute beatdown. At the end of it, when Roosh realized that Caster lasted the 5 minutes, he ended up calling LFI in and taking liberties and mercies, it beating down Caster. Jet Speed and Fox came out to make the save. Um, Monet came out to show off her 8 belts, which is pretty hilarious, but she's the belt collector right now. Hopefully, she gets a couple more soon to piss some people off. Last but not least, we had the Chicago Street Fight, Kyle versus Dustin Rhodes for the TNT title. I mean, this was a hell of a match. Kyle ends up leaving with the title. We expected this a little bit earlier. I believe we expected him to take the title versus Adam Cole at All In. Injuries and changes obviously put a damper on that. But now, not for nothing, Kyle Fletcher is your AEW TNT champion. Um, so that was pretty much Collision. Now, as far as SummerSlam, night one had its, I guess you could say, its highs, and it had its very, very lows. Um, we also had a possible Braun Breaker injury. I will update you on that when more information comes out. Now, not for nothing, night one of SummerSlam, probably a C plus show, maybe a C for me. I expected more from it. Highlight of the night: Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, obviously taking the tag straps off of Raquel and Roxanne. Hell of a match. Um, Orton and Jelly Roll versus Logan and McIntyre. Jelly Roll put on an impressive performance. You tell me what you thought about the match in the comments. I guess we'll be seeing more Jelly Roll in the future. Shout out to Matt Trigger. He knows why I said that. Now we also had Roman and Jay going against the Bron Brons. I thought the Bron Brons would go over here. We didn't see that. Um, Jay and Roman went over. Pretty good match. I had no problems there. Tiffany and Jay definitely fell flat. Um, I mean, Tiffany won. She beat Jade clean. Retained. We also had news that came out after that WWE doesn't view Jade as a Rhea Ripley, or maybe that means a big star. I'm hoping those was just rumors and they haven't given up on her yet, because I mean she has the look. She needs more work. Um, Sammy and Carrion, oh boy. Ah, wasn't a good match. It could be carrying Cross's last match in the company. We're not 100% sure where this goes from here. I'll definitely keep updates on that as we go. So as the week goes on, you might get a couple more updates on shows as far as Carrion and Scarlett. I wish them the best. Um, with a lot of people thinking they might walk a righteous path, but I'm not sure where that will lie. Whether it's WWE, TNA, who knows? We'll have to wait and see on that. Gunther and Punk put on a hell of a match. It was a I mean, I've heard mixed reactions. To me, that was a throwback match. Outside of the Punk botch spot where it looked like he tapped, I think it was a pretty good match. Punk wins. He pretty much got trashed the whole match and then ended up winning. He gets his moment. I think everybody expected Rollins to come out. He came out with the crutches, acted like he wasn't going to cash in, drop the crutches, ends up cashing in. This is the moment of the night. He ends up cashing in successfully and taking the strap off of Punk. I would like to see your thoughts on that. Definitely drop those in the comments. Night two. Um, this was a little bit better night for me. We had some decent matches. So we had Naomi retain in a pretty good triple threat with Io Sky and Rhea. I enjoyed that match. Got nothing bad to say there. Becky and Lyra, I've seen mixed reactions. I liked the match. Becky retains with some accidental help from Bailey, who actually was out there to help Lyra. But I enjoyed the match. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Solo and Jacob put on one of the best matches of the night in the steel cage. We did have shenanigans. We expected those. I thought Jacob would go over here. Solo ends up retaining. Earlier in the night, we had the the TLC match with the tag teams. Wyatt Six retained. Pretty good match. Could have been. I thought it would be better than it was, but it was a pretty good match. Um, we had Dominic retain over AJ Styles by hitting him with a boot that AJ Styles pulled off his foot. They had a whole bunch of Eddie Guerrero throwback moments in this match. Starting with AJ coming out with his kid with the lowrider, AJ's gear. They had a bunch of spots in the match where they paid homage to Eddie Guerrero, the Lion cheating and stealing. AJ actually tried to pull the chair trick. So this was a pretty good match. Dominic goes over. John Cena and Cody Rhodes. I mean, they overachieved this match. It went on for about 30 minutes. They each hit about their finishing move about 15 times. I thought someone was gonna have to create a new move to win this match. At the end of it, Cody hits the crossroads 3 times, gets the 1, 2, 3, takes the champ back. He's officially back on top of the world. I did also love the new helmet he came out with for this match. Um, After delayed reaction at the end, we had the Brock Lesnar return. After all the Janelle Grant stuff, personally, I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't fully deep dived in all these documents, which I am going to take a look over it. But I know he was mentioned, so I would just say that they probably shouldn't have made this move. Let me know what you think in the comments below for sure. Now we do have um I'm gonna give you the match of the weekend, I believe. Um, Counting Collision, remember, because typically it's a Saturday show, even though it aired on Thursday. Um, I'm gonna say Dustin and Kyle Fletcher was my personal favorite match of the week, followed by either Punk Gunther or Cody Cena. I did love those two matches. And I do want to give a nod to the women because Charlotte and Alexa, Raquel and Roxy put on one hell of a match. So those was probably my favorite matches of the week. But I'm gonna stick with Fletcher and Dustin. The Chicago Street Fight was my favorite match of the week. Um, Now I do want you guys to answer this in the comments because I mean, I feel like he deserves better. But let me know if you think that Dragon Lee made a wrong decision going to the WWE versus going to AEW or just another company in general. Let me know what you think about that. Now, as far as this show's gonna go. We'll be dropping. This is gonna be a short episode. I wanted to make sure I got it out to you guys. Um, but we're gonna have feature Fridays, so I'm gonna have somebody every Friday featured interview, whether it's a podcaster or maybe even an indie wrestler, maybe some bigger names. We'll see how that goes. Um, I want to answer as many questions as I can, so make sure to send over any questions to at Mob Squad 508 over on my X. Um, Let me know anything you're interested or anything you would like for me to talk about, any segments, stuff like that, or if you would like to be featured on the show. Now, a couple of questions that were sent in. People wanted me to touch on the wrestling partnerships a little bit. Um, I typically just say WWE doesn't play fair with partnerships, you know, in the long haul, their history, I would say. The partnerships they have now, I'm gonna give them more time. Um, I personally, I know it's working money wise, but I I don't personally like the TNA one. I don't like giving your two biggest titles to another company. I just eh, I don't agree with that. The partnership has actually been pretty cool to watch. It's just the title part I don't agree with. But as far as in totality, we got to give them more time to see if WWE is gonna play fair this time around. Whether it's Noah, TNA, wouldn't say AAA because they're owned by WWE now. That's not really a partnership. With AEW, I think they're trying their best with all these partnerships. They're showcasing CMLL guys frequently, or women. They've brought Stardom women over there. They've featured New Japan people all over their TV. So they've Rev Pro. They, whether it's Ring of Honor, AEW, they're putting their partners all over their screen. They're also working with their biggest wrestlers, which WWE hasn't been willing to do as of yet. So I think AEW is playing fair and doing their best to help all their partners. So I do think partnerships, as far as in wrestling, I do love it. I like that these companies can work together, promote each other, and put egos aside and share talent and stuff like that. Um, I know some of your questions derive strictly from Mercedes Monet and having all those belts, but you got to think like this. You wouldn't know what some of those companies were or are if she didn't have those belts. She's doing the work. She's traveling. She's putting on banger after banger. She deserves the world. So I have no problem with what she's doing. Um, Now there was another question about it, Tony Khan versus Eric Bischoff and the differences between AEW and WCW, and same network and AEW potentially being canceled. There's a few differences here. Yes, AEW does have a deal where they're getting money from them, $180 million a year, but Tony's from the start of this been using his own money. He's coming in with NFL money. His family's up billions. Whether you want to admit he has his own money or not, that's your own grief. I could care less. Um, Eric was burning the company's money. Like you were spending Ted or the network's money on older talent, talent you wasn't being used, handing Hogan creative control. Rest in peace, Hogan. Not trying to jab Hogan here, but um Eric was blowing other people's money. So when push came to shove, they're making the decision to stop spending their money. Uh, Tony would be fine. AEW would be fine. They seem like they have a great relationship with their partners. Um, it- you got to remember, to be everybody wants to be in cahoots with someone in the NFL. Tony is a direct family member, or you could even say one of the owners of the Jaguars, no matter how you put it. Um, and I'm sure that companies would love to work with him just on that fact alone. without even getting into what his net worth is or anything like that. So, uh, for anybody that thinks AEW is dying, I've seen the JD rant, and I mean, a question I would ask is this: if you think AEW has a shelf life of 5 to 7 years, with all Tony's money, with his family's money, with how much he loves wrestling, with with the network, with them or not with them, however you split it. So do you think in 7 years you believe WWE will be on the only wrestling company? Because if you're saying AEW can't survive, you can't in all seriousness, in good faith, say TNA is gonna survive, or you know, New Japan or any of these companies. And the problem with what you're saying is a lot of these companies have had ups and downs, roller coasters way before AEW has came. TNA looked like they was dying 10 times already. They're still here. They've never been on the level of AEW. Um, they've never had the financial backing of AEW. It, just stop it, man. I get it. You didn't get press passes and you went full 360. Maybe one day you go 360 and come back to AEW. But cut the crap, man. Now, with that being said, that's going to be the end of the show. I do want to let you know I'm a Prince Nana affiliate. The link, if you would like to purchase any fresh bags of Prince Nana coffee, will be in the description. Definitely follow that link. Order off that link. It gives me 10%. I appreciate it. Remember, get any questions over. And I'm going to sign out. I'm Mob Miz. I'll see you guys soon. Specifically tomorrow at 10 a.m. and the next day. And the next day. Also, excuse me before I go. Don't forget to check me out every Tuesday on Chairshot Sports with John Anthony with the NXT Rewind. We're coming in every Tuesday right after NXT. And don't forget to check us every Thursday, roughly around 8 p.m. with me, Took Timbo, and Turnbuckle TG, the Elite Mob, do our Dynamite recaps. Thank you for everybody tuning in. We love you.